Uh, Hello, I hope you're doing well. I'm Dave and I help business leaders to have clarity when it comes to technology. And today's video is really about acronyms and buzzwords around artificial intelligence, because at the moment there's a lot going on. I think it's quite useful if I just do a video on the buzzwords you need to know about. So with the current AI, we've got two types. We've got generative AI and agentic AI. So generative AI, that's the thing where if you're playing with ChatGPT or Claude or Copilot, you type stuff in and it gives you an answer. A lot of people are using it a bit like Google, but I think it can do a lot more than that. And with the large language models that generative AI uses, the LLMs, it knows a ton of stuff, absolute ton of stuff. So your first job is to spend a few minutes every day that you're using AI, and you need to be using it every day now to learn about it, is to learn how to do something called prompt engineering. If you Google, or you can use Perplexity, it's quite nice as well for the search engine. If you search for prompt engineering, you can type your question in and it will help you create a prompt. It will say things like, you are an expert in X, or using my words, change this to be like this, because you don't want it to be too generic. You don't want your thing to say, in a world where we delve into whatever, because you want it to be special for you. And the stuff that you want AI to help you with isn't everything. It's a specific subset of human knowledge. So the idea of prompt engineering is to get it really focusing on the thing that you want help with, and you'll get much better responses and results if you spend time learning about prompt engineering. Now, agentic AI, this is another thing. So agentic AI is essentially a way that you can get AI to do tasks for you. Book a holiday, look up some information, talk to your CRM and your calendar. These are new things, and it's at the moment it's still early days, but it's certainly capable of doing a lot of stuff. And in the future, things like booking meetings, booking appointments, trying to find people online, agentic AI is going to be doing all of that and a ton more. Now, there's a very important piece of technology in the agentic AI which you can connect to through your agents, GPT, Claude, etc., and that's called an MCP. Okay, so an MCP stands for model. Here we are. So MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. And simply what that means is your agent, it can do everything, again, like the large language model. So it uses an MCP agent to translate between the prompts that you give it, or it creates itself, and the end system. So say you've got a CRM or your calendar, then the MCP server, what that will do is that knows how to communicate, and knows what questions to ask that the calendar system understands, or your CRM understands. So it's this middleware that sits between the AI and the system that you're connecting to, or systems more likely, and it can translate into the language that the API understands. It's a bit complicated, but the point here is that the tools that you require is an interface that you type stuff into, or ask questions at, and then that connects. That's your MCP client. That connects to an MCP server or servers, where the MCP server they can then connect to other resources. Now, in the future, this is all going to be done for you. A bit like the prompt engineering will be done for you, but right now you need to use a tool like NAN or various other tools. It's starting to be built into Claude now, I notice, to communicate with these tools. And what's great about this replaces a lot of tools that exist at the moment that maybe you're paying for that you don't need to, because the MCP server can do it for you. Now, there are a lot of security risks. There's issues around computers being able to do stuff that you haven't intended. You don't really want to give your AI access to your CRM and they find it's leaked everything. So the controls aren't quite there yet, but start to experiment with understanding how it works. It's definitely worth doing. And a lot of the time it will only work at the moment, like if it's like choose my own adventure, you do A, B, C, D, and as soon as you go outside that, it's going to break. I've talked before as well about data governance, and that's something that's really important to understand. So make sure your staff and your team all understand the risks of using AI, and they understand what data shouldn't be given to AI, because you don't want to give away your trade secrets or confidential data. So that's it, really. A lot of things to think about: MCP, LLMs, but try to get used to this. Try and spend a few minutes every day working on AI, because it's coming whether we like it or not, and you can stay ahead of the